Namaskar, welcome back. Welcome back, Guruji. So, last session we had a pretty lengthy session, and Guruji covered whole lot of topics and quite a lot of new things I've learned from that. But one thing one can take, though there was a lot of deep philosophy over there, it is important to understand that philosophy, to understand what remedies mean really. Why are we doing it? What is the entire point of doing it? More importantly, how you can reach to the unconscious and thereby resolve your karmas or experience those karmas, which is the entire point of this existence. Why are we doing remedies, etc.? So it would be good for you to listen to that. And Guruji gives a very nice technique at the end, wherein how for each individual chart you can find the right kind of approach or the yoga by which you can get to the unconscious, which is a very important thing, right? So there we focus on that. Today we'll be focusing on more we may say material or mundane aspects of how we analyze charts, how to find the right remedies for charts. Some may be useful, easy remedies for general usage, but which are very powerful. So I'm sure Guruji will take us forward on that. So Guruji, it's all up to you now.
Pleasure. Thank you. And yes, that talk is quite important. The previous talk we had on the whole philosophy and structure of Upasana, and I gave some tips from the tradition. Okay, and now where we're at is when we speak of remedies, our first interest is addressing the mind. First interest. Because in the previous talk we talked about Ishta devata. That means we leaped so far forward. We leaped so very far forward that if somebody has reached that stage, congratulations. Now, if you're thinking Ishta devata, Visti, I'll see 12th from my Karakamsha, my 12th from Atmakarka and Navamsha. I will see planets or lords there. Now confusion comes and there'll be a whole, comment based on, oh, Visti, what is my Ishta devata? What is my Ishta devata? And I say, you must like your Ishta devata. Okay? If you have Venus as 12th lord from Karakamsha and you say, I don't like Lakshmi, I want to worship Shiva, we have a problem. All right? If you think it must be Lakshmi and you don't like Lakshmi, you must like your Ishta devata. I don't say it must be Lakshmi if Venus is the 12th lord from Karakamsha. Venus could also indicate Kamalatmika. Among Shaiva Rupas, Venus is indicating a form called Vamadeva Rupa, a very, very pleasant form. Very, very pleasant form called Vamadeva Rupa. Okay? Among Rupas of Vishnu, this is the form of Rishikesh, the one that Lakshmi worshipped. So like that, there can be different forms. All right? If let's say you like Ganesh, then that Venus is going to be Uchista Ganapati, the one who dances with his spouses. Okay? So like that, everybody has a natural inclination. That inclination has a lot more to do with who you are than who the Ishta is. The Ishta is just changing clothes for you. But you must like the Ishta. All right? So let us say you say, Visti, I like Hanuman. I said, okay, you look at your 12th from Karakamsha, find out which graha is there. Depending on that, you have 5 elements, 5 tattvas. The tattva will indicate which of the 5 heads of Hanuman is appropriate for you. Panchamukha Hanuman. Okay? All right? Panchamukha Hanuman is Hari Markata. He has 5 heads. All right? So basis that for any devata you like, you can adapt the 12th from Karakamsha to that. You see? To that rupa. Then you can be specific. But Karakamsha is based on Atmakarka. The Atma is based on the soul. You are now trying to find a mantra that will adapt for you to achieve that which is related to your soul. Hoy, that is tough stuff. That's not easy. Okay, that is already something that's far away. I would be much more in preference too for most people living in this planet for us to give remedies which are based on the mind itself, because the mind is the one which is having to go through all of this. So preparing the mind to go to the soul might be a very, very nice thing to go about, because in doing so, you will not tell people, oh, you're having a job problem, worship Krishna. Oh no, you're having a relationship problem, worship Krishna. No, no. You're having a problem with your parents? Worship Krishna. You're having a health problem? Worship Krishna. And suddenly everybody's saying Krishna for everything. And did you solve the problem? Then you are being told you have to worship Krishna your whole life, and you come to Visti for a reading saying it didn't work. All right? And I say, okay, please worship Krishna because it'll help you with your final steps in life. But it's possible that your mind needs something else to feel stable in this planet first. That's very much possible. Mm-hmm. And some people just need to worship Krishna and life is good. Some people do. Okay, that depends on the chart. So practically, we want to take the chart and look at the moon. And the first thing we're interested in is we're going to weigh now. We are going to weigh. Should we see the first house from moon or should we see the ninth house from the moon? Somebody might be thinking, Visti, you just said something I thought I read somewhere in some text. First or ninth, yes? Yes, that's right. First or ninth from moon. Yes, okay. That's interesting. They've read it somewhere that first and ninth are important. It's true. Because living in this planet is either about the ninth from the moon, which is the final objective of the mind. Okay? Or the first from moon, which is about being able to manage this life. Those are the two essentially, two options. Okay? I have spoken extensively on in the past when it comes to the topic of career, the ninth from the moon. I've talked about that online. It's very important. Because what is called the Acchadana, the desire, the deepest wish of the mind, is in ninth from the moon. So I will give a quick summary here. Okay? The ninth from the moon is that which everybody's mind is praying for. Think of ninth as being your prayer, your final sadhana, the highest tapasya, the highest achievement, what you consider the highest peak of your life. It is actually what you consider godlike. You consider the ninth from moon as if God has blessed you. How do you think God blesses you? If let's say you have the sun in the lording the ninth from moon. Let's say your moon is in, let's say it's in Sagittarius. The ninth from moon is now Leo. Mm-hmm. So you believe when government blesses you, Surya, when Father blesses you, Surya, that now God has blessed you. You believe it. Okay? If moon is, let's say your moon is in the sign of Scorpio, ninth from moon will be Cancer. You believe if mom has blessed you, it's a great blessing. Like if mom achieves something or mother's family has done something. Like if moon is in Scorpio, you might be very attached to or have some really nice graces coming from mother's family. It's very possible. Okay? What if Mars' signs are in the ninth from moon? Right? So that means your moon is either in Leo or it is in Pisces. The ninth from moon is now lorded by Mars. Mm-hmm. Then you believe strength is the grace. When you get independent, independence is something you worship, Mars. You say, Visti, what about siblings? Yes, also siblings. But what is it you're really looking for? You're looking for independence, being a warrior. You worship warriors. Mm-hmm. Okay? So the others are also worshipping. What are they worshipping? If Leo is ninth from moon, you worship father. If Cancer is ninth from moon, you worship mother. You're actually thinking like that. Deep in your mind, you think this is the best thing that could happen. Okay? All right? If you're a man and Leo is ninth from moon, you believe the best thing that could happen to you is you became a father. If you're a woman, ninth from moon Cancer, the best thing that could happen to you is you became a mother. If Scorpio or Aries is ninth from moon, you believe the best thing that could happen is if you got divorced. Very very strange people. Very strange people. They are worshipping warriors, independence. Let me be strong. Let me be independent. The problem is when they get married, they are being dependent, not independent. No. So if your moon is in Leo or your moon is in Pisces, you have a funny thing in your mind. Even if you think it's good for you to be married because you fall in love, somehow you want to be independent. Okay? You want to be independent. You want to be able to manage on your own. Then you start asking the jyotisha, yeah, my husband is rich, but I want to have my own career and profession because I don't want to be dependent on my husband. I said, but you won't be able to earn as much money if you started late, possibly. Okay? Compared to your husband. Maybe that happened. Or maybe it's vice versa. Maybe the wife is the one earning. Okay? And the husband has just dedicated his life to watching the kids. That happens in some cases. And so my point is that you are worshiping this ninth from the moon. You believe this is the biggest grace. Mercury there, job. You worship job. Okay? You may even worship people who are giving jobs, like big job creators, like Steve Jobs. Okay? People who have a lot of money, Warren Buffett. You worship that. You worship the idea of having fiscal security and in that also great career and title and position. Jupiter is lording the ninth from moon. You worship actually God. You actually see spirituality, saints, as being a source of grace. You actually look at them and say, this is of value. This is what will make my life fantastic if I have that in my life. Then the people I like. If Venus lords ninth from moon, who do you worship? Spouse. I like those people. They consider it the biggest grace in their life that they got married. They actually worship their spouse in a way. In a way. All right? They take their spouse very seriously. They are very sensitive to the needs of the spouse. That's a good thing. All right? That'll give you a very nice living.
So everyone will look for marrying someone with moon in Virgo or Aquarius now.
Yeah, they will look for that because they actually are looking at their spouse and saying this is the best grace. They have there's one problem though with them. If they're in a bad marriage, they will consider it the greatest blessing to marry a new. Okay, that's the other side of it. So what you're trying to examine after that is that Venus well placed? Okay, is that Mars well placed? Is that Jupiter? Where is that planet placed? Okay. Where does moon, when let's say Saturn lords the ninth from moon, what are you worshipping? Okay, you're not worshipping disease. No, you are worshipping the opposite, lack of disease. You consider the best thing in the world if you are healthy, good health. Ignore Rahu Ketu here. The moon doesn't believe in the nodes. All right? It also does not believe in moon's lordship of Taurus. It doesn't believe. It believes only 7 grahas and it believes in a standard list of remedies. That is what the mind is worshipping. All right? What your objective is to satisfy that quickly. Because this ninth from moon has much more to do also with whether you feel as if you are blessed in society. Because it's about being blessing in society. And what is that one thing that people throughout, for everybody, forget whether it's Mars or Mercury or Jupiter, whoever lords the ninth from moon. Forget that for a minute and say, what are people nowadays worshipping as their biggest grace? Whether they have fiscal security, financial security. That's what they're worshipping. Whether you are a homemaker, whether you are having a job, whether you are self-employed. Okay? Where some people will say whether you are, as a sadhu, okay? Whether you're a student in school. You are somehow hoping that your ninth from moon will not be causing you harm. And it's some form of security you're waiting for there. You somehow, the reason that that person thinks that the spouse is the biggest grace in their life is because they're seeing security in that. The reason the person says independence is good for me due to that Mars and lording ninth from moon is they see that as security. It's security for the mind. So you want to solve this quickly. Of course, if the person is married and moon is in Virgo or Aquarius, a lot of security is in their mind. You could argue that. But that's also where the biggest drawback is. If that Venus, let's say, if marriage starts becoming unstable, that causes the biggest insecurity in their mind. Okay? That's the biggest insecurity. They need that to be stable. Otherwise, the mind goes into spin. It causes problems in the mind. Okay? That has to be stable. Otherwise, there is a lack of security. This doesn't necessarily cause mental illness. It causes a feeling of instability in this planet. So some would argue, then Visti, technically, I should be putting a strong analysis to the ninth from the moon in a chart to know how much of security this person experiences in the planet. Correct. Yeah, that's right. And this is all about the mind. Because of the ninth from moon giving us a specialization also, the person's ability to beget a specialization that leads to a career is coming in the ninth from moon. So the underlying traits around what is that ninth from moon, which planet it is, if it is weak, you did not get your specialization. If it is strong, you got it. Okay? And that specialization may be being a homemaker, housewife, house husband, if you want to call it that. Okay? That might be that specialization. You're good at that. That gives you security. So we say, perform the mantra of the ninth lord from the moon to finish this desire, to give that security. Because if you do, if you're a homemaker, the money will come. Okay? If you are having a job, the job will stay or it will go and you'll get a new job. You'll get a new job. Somebody says, I have to find a job. You worship that, ninth from moon, you'll get a new job. Somebody's having a business, they need clients. Worship ninth from moon, you will get clients. You will get the security you're looking for. That is one of the first primal things that you need to be attentive of in a chart. If you can do that, the mind calms down. Now it has time to think about the Ishta devata. Now it has time.
Yeah.
Before that, it did not have time.
Now you're
Okay?
sustained in this world. You're
Now
taking
you're
care.
sustained. Now you can think about the kids' well being. Now you can think about the parents' well being. Now you can think about your health. Now you can think about your Ishta. You have other things to think about now because you fixed that one thing, ninth from moon. So that is primary. Step one. So, and we are doing what? Pratyadi devata. So if the sun is the lord of the ninth from moon, you are doing Shiva mantra. If moon, you should worship Gauri. If Mars, you should consider worshipping Kartikeya, some people say. Okay? You can also worship Hanuman. Hanuman is a good idea for Mars. If it is Mercury, ninth lord from moon, then Vishnu, absolutely Vishnu. Narayan is even better. Effective. Ninth from moon is lorded by Jupiter, Shiva. Obviously, it should be Sada Shiva, any Shiva, I don't care. Just Shiva. Just worship Shiva, you'll be fine. Okay? Ninth lord from moon is Venus, Lakshmi. Ninth lord from moon is Saturn, consider also Narayan. So Buddha and Shani, Narayan. This will work, you know? Then you can differ and say, oh, well, this should be particularly this form of devata, that. Don't make it complicated. Just Narayan for Buddha and Shani. Okay? Just don't make it complicated for people.
So for Sun
And
and
small
Jupiter,
mantra,
they,
short mantra, like for Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya. Okay? Om Gauriye Namah. All right? Om Hanumate Namah. Don't make it complicated. Small, easy, solve this. And so most people out there, they need this. In this economy, they need this. They don't need something complicated. They need, I could lose my job. What do I do? Start this mantra. Okay? Get security. I don't know if I'm going to get this client. Start this mantra. Get the client. All right? I have put lots of money in Bitcoin. I'm not sure I can get it out. Start this mantra. Get your security in order. Okay? So this is where we're at. This is how we go about it. Ninth house from the moon. This mantra. Simple,
yeah.
straight.
So for both Sun and Jupiter, it would be Om Namah Shivaya, is it?
It will work.
Okay.
Yeah, it will work. Now, my guru will say Namah Shivaya for Sun, Om Namah Shivaya for Jupiter.
Okay.
Yeah, he will say that. That was our first list.
Wonderful.
And
So this is like taking care of a lot of problems for a lot of people. It's like for
yes,
everyone.
yes. Should we take a small break?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.